Do you feel like you are having an awakening experience and you don't know what to do next, and you're maybe scared of it a little bit? If so, I want you to know there's hope. Don't be scared. You're not going crazy. You're waking up. You are part of the next evolution in human consciousness. And this video is for you. I've got 5 things I want you to think about that are going to help you on this next stage of awakening so that it can be smooth for you, as smooth as it can be for you. And yeah, I want you to know you're not alone, okay? So let me just say real quick, describe the awakening experience so that you can see if this is resonating with you. If you're awakening, these are the things that you're going to be experiencing. Like, you're going to become all of a sudden super present to the thoughts in your head almost all the time. It's like you're walking around and you're hearing your voice, that voice in your head all the time speaking, and it's almost like you wish you could not be aware of it, but you can't because you're so present. And you'll be in moments and you'll all of a sudden be sitting there like in a waiting room or sitting somewhere and you're like, whoa, I never realized how quiet it is. You become super aware of the moment, like every detail in the room, and you're like, wow, I've never even looked around in this room before. And you're like, I'm super aware. Like, what is happening to me? Stuff like that. Or you're in a conversation or you're feeling some physical pain even, and you feel like you can step out of it and you're like, wow, I am the peace around this physical pain. Like, that is awakening. This, very specifically, it's you understanding how to identify with the deeper, constant part of your self, inside of yourself, the attention that's always there, the awareness that's always there, regardless of what you're thinking about, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of how you feel. There's this awareness that is the real you. If you notice, it's always there. The voice can come, the voice can go. My name's Tim. Doesn't matter. That awareness, whether I was or wasn't named Tim, that awareness will always just be that awareness, and that is what's always watching. It's the observer. It's the observer's mind they talk about in mindfulness spirituality. If you're having this experience and it was like you were like me, I was scared in the beginning. I was afraid. I felt like I let a genie out of a bottle and I couldn't get it back in. And I didn't realize at the time that it was the greatest gift I'd ever been given. And as much as I later, when the movie The Matrix came out, because I had mine before the movie The Matrix, I realized, whoa, it was just like The Matrix. It was like I woke up in my life and my life was now something completely different and could never be the same. And I then went on a whole different quest. And if this has happened to you, if this is making sense to you, then you're in for quite an experience. You will go through things, but you're going to go through things differently. And as you go through these things, I've got 5 things I want to talk about with you guys to help you quicken your awakening, and also to help you make peace with your awakening as it's happening. Here we go. Here are some things. Number 1, the first thing I want you to consider is meditate every day on it. Like, meditate inside of that awareness that is the true you. Like, actually get into that awareness and sit there and take time every day and set time aside for it. Set aside some time in the morning and some time in the afternoon. 2 times a day, and preferably if you do it at bedtime as well. Because what you want to do is continue to stay identified with yourself as that awareness. When you stay identified with yourself as that awareness, your physical body, your state of being in this world, your emotion, everything shifts. You become more peaceful. You feel more love in your life. You feel like more intuitive ideas are going to come. You now have tapped into an intelligence that is far smarter than you've ever been before. When you become aware of yourself as awareness and surrender to that and allow yourself to make decisions from there, ask questions from there, the ideas that come in your head, you will be like, wow, I've never had that genius of an idea. Like, that happens. That actually happens to us, okay? So, and it's a practice. It's a practice to stay connected with that. Number 2, allow it to come and go. So it's a practice to stay connected to that true awareness that is you inside. And it's also something that you need to allow to come and go, because there will be moments where you'll be awake and you go back to sleep. If you're like me, I was awake and I was asleep, and I was awake and I'd have stretches like, whoa, I'm really awake. I'm really aware of everything. I almost have a whole day or two where I'm just aware of everything. Wow. And then I go back to sleep. Like, there will be a natural ebb and flow to this. Allow that. Don't beat yourself up. The spiritual ego, there's an ego inside of you that starts to want to micromanage your waking up and say, oh, look, you weren't very present today. You weren't very awake today. And that's just another tool of the thought, the ego version of yourself, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, okay? But practice the presence, okay? And allow it to come and go. That was number 2. Number 3, find others who you can talk to about it. Find some community. There's a lot of people waking up. Millions of people are waking up. Talk. It's a, first of all, a couple things. It helps you feel more at peace, and it helps you feel supported in what's happening to you. And also, it helps others. The more we talk about this, the more we're going to be of service to others who are waking up. So, don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to find new ways to talk about it with your family and friends, even if when they look at you, they're like, man, you're crazy. Okay? 4th thing, find teachers who talk about it that resonate with you. There are people that have gifts in the way that they use words and language and their physical energy in communicating that can take and open even more of this consciousness and awareness to come into your life. And when that comes into your life, it really is a lot like you become more and more identified with the awareness all the time. It's like you're sitting talking to friends and you're completely present to the space around them, the space inside of yourself. You hear your thoughts while they're talking, and you're aware of those thoughts. You're aware of your body, and you're just aware. Like, that happens where you can become more, a larger percentage of your daily experience will be this awareness. And that's the evolution of the awakening as it will unfold in your life. And when you find teachers who talk about it, what can happen is sometimes they'll say something that will unlock you further. And you're like, whoa, after hearing that talk, I am present. After reading that book, I feel like I've had 3 days of awareness, that kind of thing. Find teachers that feel like they help make sense of this and help quicken it for you. That's the 4th thing. And the 5th thing, the most important thing, don't be afraid. I mean, you're going to be afraid, but don't be afraid that you're afraid, okay? You're not losing your mind. You are kind of losing your mind, actually, but you're losing your mind in a good way. You're losing attachment to this old version of yourself, to this idea version of yourself, to this story of self that you used to think was you. You are no longer your name. You're no longer the thoughts that pop in your head. You're no longer the story you were born into, the family you were born into. You're no longer your pain. You're not your body. What you are is that awareness that you've become aware of inside of yourself. That's you. That's the real you. Welcome. Enjoy. Learn how to be you all the time. That's what is the next step for you in this awakening process. Allow it to unfold. Talk with others about it. Meditate on it every day. Find teachers that help you, and don't be afraid. Holding so much love for you all. Let me know about your awakening experience in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Have a beautiful present day.